Greetings, I am Lies, and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal, and I use they, them.
And let's play a game together!
Yeah!
Alrighty guys, so we are about to find out some cool stuff about him, the mysterious him. But before that, we're going to take just a second to talk about the last scene that we had over the couple of episodes.
Specifically the one really with the paid scene, because, well, I guess thematically it works, because we had kind of a mild conversation about it before we started, since the whole point of the game is to do mystery romance, right? So there's your romance. Worked fine, right? But my biggest thing was actually I had a weird moment going, actually, what was the point of that, character and story-wise? Like, again, if you're just going to say, well, that's for building the romance, but I was super weirded out because it occurred to me that we were never really ever connected to exactly what Asra was concerned about. Like, we have no information about what the area was. We don't actually know what the dangers were. Okay, so there's a fun little story trope that sometimes what people will do is they will show you the dangerous object. Whether that's an animal, whether it's a bomb, just the dangerous MacGuffin that's gonna go kill the antagonist, right?
A time frame, something.
Yeah, they show you the danger. But then they show you the characters, and so you sit there and you are worried for the characters going, oh god, they don't know that the anaconda is coming to get them. Like that kind of thing.
They don't know there's a danger.
Yes.
So, and they didn't do that in this scene.
And the thing is in this one, though, what was so confusing for me is because I went, Asra's making a huge fucking deal out of something that he literally won't describe, won't talk about, won't even explain after the fact of what the fuck it even was, that he was so worried about. And I'm like,
and then
that
so relieved about.
Yeah, and you're like, we had, like, thematically and tonally for there, we had no connection to his experience at all, period. And it was supposed to be, quote, I'm assuming, like, a big moment for your character, or for you, I guess, for going, you've conquered this thing! Except you have literally no connection to what it is. Like, it felt so weirdly done.
And so for me, I had to think about it, because I didn't come up with the same thing at first, but I appreciate my friend's point a lot, and it was kind of like a thing of going, okay, so, cute romantic scene because cute romantic story building, but, like, it really is going, what did Kohai learn from that? What did Asra teach or engage with or do with Kohai there? So it's the, Kohai, I'm going to take you to this thing. I'm worried if you lead, but you need to lead. I'm worried if you go out there, but you need to go out there. You survived it! I'm so glad. Survived what? It was dangerous. Why? We came here because of what?
Why?
And Asra's like, you did a thing, but Kohai never learns, and neither do we, what they did other than walk to a pond and fall in the water?
Right?
Oh yeah, and remember a spell? Did you bring me in here to remember if I knew how to hold my breath magically?
Right?
Was that the whole point?
You know, that I just, because I live near the ocean, it's reasonable that maybe I should know how to swim, and I also might have some skill in actually holding my breath.
But also, it's just going, why were we here? What was that for? And so as a person reading the story, what is that at?
Yes. Something that only exists in the other world. It started with him. A mysterious him that we both agree upon, but we both didn't establish whether or not we knew we were talking about him. Lucio, that I say to you, who should already know what the fuck I'm talking about based on how we interacted with that, but also then I'm going to fucking explain it to you. Why the hell was I still don't understand?
But if I, a player, played this route first, I would go, who's Lucio?
Yeah,
which is fine, because what it would do is, as a mystery, I'd go, okay, both my character and Asra know who Lucio is, but I've never known that until just now.
But the problem is, so we mentioned this last time, was that Asra and you talk about it as if you both are on the same page.
As if you don't know.
And then Asra turns around and explains it to you as if you don't know.
Yes.
Which I'm saying, you cannot have this cake and also eat it too in this.
You can't have both cakes and eat them. Yes.
That's not that. Have your one cake. It's okay. I haven't seen him yet. What?
Protections?
No, I haven't seen him yet. But you know he's there?
Well, have you seen or heard him in the castle? Remembering, we don't, have you seen or heard anything.
All right,
it's the voice or the figure.
I don't know what's going on. This is really weird. Like I'm saying, this is weird.
It doesn't feel like a mystery. It feels like I'm lost.
Yeah, I haven't seen him yet. I have a lot of protections up. You can't come anywhere near me.
So if I am
just me
near you, he cannot also come near me?
Correct. But just if you're near me. And he's weak. He shouldn't be able to hurt you, but...
How do you know he is weak? And
if you've never seen him, and 2, he shouldn't be able to hurt you But is that saying, but he will, that he has hurt?
He shouldn't be able to, but it's possible that he might be able to. He shouldn't be able to. This person should not know macrame, but they might have learned it when I wasn't paying attention. Could happen.
That is it. I'm going to use an absolute. And then immediately go, well, it might not be absolute. I'm like you said.
Some people do that.
Just, I'm confused because does he scale you, Kohai?
Have you heard the voice or seen the figure?
What does hurt you and then scare you have to do with each other?
I don't know, but also going...
This is so fucking confusing! Okay, so I have to say, as much as there's more, like, plot elements in here, you know what I figured out?
Huh.
They're trying to make it really mysterious.
It's...
Like, they're really trying, and it's
so mysterious that you, in Kohai's head, do not know what Kohai is experiencing, thinking, or knows.
I'm actually really confused right now, because I'm like, okay... I will admit, maybe this feels worse to me because I know the other routes, but this genuinely feels fumbly, like we're trying to establish a mysterious atmosphere. We're not doing it very well, and it's just, there's really weird circular
We're trying to do
talking.
really, really limited exposition because we want it to still stay mysterious, but if your character that you are knows, how does it stay mysterious?
Did he scale you, Kohai?
His gaze is soft on me. As if he blames himself. He scared me? He didn't scare me.
I don't.
He didn't scare me. First of all, you said, have you had any strange experiences? And it's, I heard their voice, or I saw it. I heard him, or I saw him, or something. But it was an absolute. No, I didn't get scared.
This way.
He didn't scare me.
Of course he didn't. You're the bravest person I know. Not everyone can wash him off so easily. But there's one thing I want you to remember when you deal with him, okay?
I thought that was really cute of going, not everyone can brush him off so easily. You're doing so well at blush.
He did.
Woo!
I'm
cute.
So baffled. Also, again, okay, so you know what makes this funny, though?
Huh.
Like, that is actually true. So remember how in the other one, in the one that they put up and then they put back,
in the other intro.
In the other intro that we did quarters earlier, didn't they basically delete the encounter with Lucio? You sort of got to, like, run into a voice, but you didn't actually get to go see him. Like, you had to go pay for that.
I don't remember, but,
if I remember correctly.
I'm trying to remember if we ever made it to the palace at all, because I remember being escorted by, Muriel, and that's kind of the last thing I remember. I should probably go back and look at it.
I know, because that was the one paid scene we actually did. But the thing was, is that's what I mean. I think they actually took him mostly out in the remake. And so you kind of, like, heard a voice, but that was all. And then in the original one, which they've gone back to, you actually can pay to go further into the room and actually have a conversation with Lucio.
I would have to check. I don't remember.
Anyway, that's fine. Okay.
But there's one thing to remember when you're dealing with him, okay?
Don't listen to him. A note can be had, especially once he knows how to find you.
I heard a voice. Don't listen to him. Hearing also does listen sometimes.
Just so you know.
So when you say don't listen, do you mean don't interact? Don't believe him? Do you mean plug my ears?
La 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 la. But if I don't know he's there, how do I know that he's there to be heard?
If I hear him, I should stop hearing him. Got it.
Right. So in the middle of sentence, quick, la 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 la.
I say.
Honestly, that would be
a voice comes down the corridor. Immediately plugs ears and starts singing.
Portia.
Are you okay? I'm singing to myself and running away.
I also find that to be really weird too, because you don't know what he sounds like, do you?
I mean, you could assume his mystical voice sounds the same every time.
Yeah, but our fucking character seems constantly confused. A mysterious voice, voice.
But is it the mysterious voice?
I know!
Me, there's too many mysterious voices. Can I tell them apart? Okay, you know what I really love in games like this?
Uh-huh.
Okay, one thing. okay, so I know a lot of them use the question marks to make mystery, and they assume that for whatever reason, or they put in a caveat for whatever reason that your character cannot recognize this voice. Even if it's someone they know and love, they just don't recognize this voice.
I know.
Now, the thing is I love it when games distinguish unnamed voices by going the voice down the hall.
Yes.
By going that high whispery voice, by going a muffled call kind of thing. And if it's the mysterious voice, it will say the mysterious voice every time, so you know which one it's talking about.
Yeah!
And instead of the question marks.
We've actually played a couple visual novels that have specifically given people basically, not necessarily like, so where Asra's name is, they have something like, is it this person? Like, that person wasn't paying attention, and they'll actually basically try to adapt it a lot better, because sometimes there are people you know really well, and because you haven't been paying attention, you just go, wah! Who the fuck is that? And then you're like, oh my god, it's the person that I'm literally dating. I'm so sorry. I was off in my own brain, disassociating into the next year.
Having an existential crisis, hello?
Hi! But the thing is you'd have to actually put that in there and
there's
decide.
a voice yelling from outside. Kind of sounds like,
and that's what we've played, is a couple of them going, it kind of sounds like...
Yeah.
Don't is there, especially once he knows how to find you. I'm not saying don't hear him. You can't help that.
He answers your question. Clarifying. Yes, good.
I mean, don't listen. He's going to try to get you. Get to you, actually. Whatever it takes to keep you listening. He's starved for attention.
You know a lot about him, Asra. I'm gonna say Mass Asra.
Mastra?
Mastra.
Mastra. Actually, though, that's the thing that I also think is really weird. How does Asra know this? I've never seen him, but I have a lot of wards up so that he can't get near me, but I've also never encountered him, so I don't know his limitations or his... but he should be weak. I'm like, this
doesn't know how he knows this, so neither do we, so it works. In this one case, it works.
But in terms of the...
But it might not be desirable because you might want to know. But the thing is he is an enigma, wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in
and that's true.
A soft crescent roll.
So what we have, again, is basically an incurious MC. Because, honestly, if I was basically the apprentice, I'd be like, how do you know this? You just said you've never run into him.
Mystery Asra pastry.
Asra pastry with little puff white hair on the top.
My stomach picks this moment to growl. Noticing the tight grip he has on my wrist, Asra takes a step back. I'm telling you this thing very earnestly, but we have only learned this just now.
Okay, you know what I think this is very funny? These are two separate ideas. My stomach growls, but Asra, that we somehow know, Asra only moves away from us because he realizes that he's got a very tight grip on your wrist. It has nothing to do with your stomach.
The only thing I'm getting is your stomach growls, which diffuses the moment and makes Asra realize he has a very tight grip on your wrist.
Which I would have written this differently then.
That's the only guess I can think of what they are trying to say here.
I
takes a step back. But does he... Okay, here's the important question, though. Noticing he has a very tight grip on my wrist, does he keep the tight grip and take a step back, taking your arm with him? Because it doesn't say he changes it. It just says he notices it's there.
Honestly, he could be like, notices the tight grip he has on my wrist. He drops my wrist and steps back.
Yeah. Like, he releases it and steps back.
Yeah, there's a lot of this...
He loosens his grip.
Like, you can make it short and clippy. It's okay. You can say...
Asra is still holding our wrist tightly, but he is away from us
He's backed away!
Yep. My hand is out towards him.
There's a good place to stop up ahead. I'll make something to eat, okay? I'm starving too.
Because we've been there an entire fucking day.
Apparently.
A whole day. And it doesn't matter if I'm back at night, I guess. We proceed into the forest, dazzled by the colors and lights.
That they don't seem to go away. Because we found
I stay dazzled the whole time, and my eyes never adjust, and I never get out of bumpkin staring at the city moat. It's okay. Before long, we come across a circular clearing, and Asra stops to gather stones. Apparently, it's a circular clearing where there are also stones to be gathered.
Okay.
It's very important, the shape of the clearing, so you know. Yeah. Hanging in the branches around the circle are 7-sided stars, woven from tightly braided grass. And I was hoping that hanging around the circle was, Faust.
We're still...
Faust is sleeping back at the entrance of the cave. That is a snake snoring, in case anyone knows.
Actually, okay, if you've ever had snakes before, if you know somebody who has snakes, Some snakes do actually snore.
They can make really
And
soft
it's
little noises.
really fucking funny.
You can
It is
look up
weird,
snake
snake snoring. It's really funny.
Yes. Snakes are beautiful animals, and they're also weird.
They're goofy.
They're goofy. Very serious. And, okay, so snakes are a little bit like cats in that way. Serious, apex predator. Billions of years of evolution have designed them to do one thing. And also, boop and doof and fall off of things. And I try to reach and I lose my balance and I snore.
Uh-huh. It's actually really funny. So apparently, though, there is actually a study that they've come out with. Now, I haven't really looked into it, but I only saw the headline where they're like, scientists have discovered that domesticated cats actually might be losing basically their brain power as they are domesticated by people.
We are slowly breeding them out of being the predators that we have understood them to be.
So basically, they're bigger and bigger dumbasses, which I'm like, that's sort of funny, and I can't decide if that's a good thing.
You know the cat getting caught in the blinds? We did that.
Yeah, we did that. It's our fault.
I braided grass, but no snake. They're Asra's work, but much less practiced than the ones I've seen him make. They're old, but untouched. Can I tell if the grass is dried for longer? Can I see how old they are? You know, because sometimes, sensory-wise, does it smell like anything in this clearing? I haven't smelled anything for a while.
I don't think they're Astra's work. I think they're Muriel's work.
That could make sense.
Which would make sense to your character going like, oh yes, I've spent all this time around Asra. If Muriel has also learned from Asra,
then we have to know that Muriel is big and rough and unrefined.
Or again, he hasn't had like as much skill or as much time as Asra has basically learning these things. Or which is one of the things that I'm like, oh my god, you really do have a NADIA'S route where he just fucking knows how to do magic. And he is assisting Asra. I am so fucking baffled because that never came up in Julian's route at all. He seems completely incapable. He just like run away and hide and completely non-magical. And my whole brain is like, especially after dealing with Nadia, going like, I know everything about magic and you clearly do not. I'm like, I want to now know how much magic Muriel knows. I cannot believe the possible implication.
I'm also like, does he know different amounts and different routes? Are the stories and the worlds and the AUs that different?
Which also frustrates me.
In some of them, he does not know magic. Or in one of them, he does not know magic. In another one, he knows some magic. In another one, he knows a lot of magic. And there's a background reason for it, but we don't get to know.
Like, again, it's just frustrating.
Much less, well, it doesn't say they're like Astra's work. It says they are Astra's work. So is Kohai wrong?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It would make sense if you go, these are Astra's work.
And then
because that's the only exposure you have.
Okay.
That was my argument, going like, and then you'll be correct and going, oh no, it's actually Muriel, unless it's something else.
As he starts to unpack some seasoning herbs from his bag, he catches me examining one of the charms.
I made this spot for safety a long time ago.
I was right.
You're right.
Older stars. Woo!
Woo! That's actually good to know. But
I did this way back in the day when I had less skill, and they're still good. Still good. Still good. Still good.
Safety a long time ago. You know, things are bad in the city when you need to hide in the woods.
Question.
What?
Do they create safety and a permanent clearing? No weeds, no brush will grow here. Nobody will make a burrow here. It will stay a perfectly circular clearing.
You're really telling me you're going to walk in and go, hanging treat for me?
Oh no, they walk nearby and they go, I don't feel like going that way, and they go another way.
Or how does it work? Does it interfere with animals? I'd be very curious.
It passes everything around it. There's not even mosquitoes in there.
I actually love where sometimes people observe in regards to magic going, the reason why magic is so unnatural is because it really is anything and everything really goes, unless you're already in it, you don't go to it.
Yes,
like
you
have
walk
no
around
access.
No access.
Yeah. When you need to hide in the wood, into the woods.
Into the woods. Into the thick of it.
Into the thick of it. Right. Here, you can finish off the bread. I'll start the fire.
I'm amazed that
Wait, what? There is a place up ahead. You mean there's a shop that we could go to? I thought we were going to go to a place. Because he said, there is a place up ahead where we can get food.
Yes.
He didn't say there is a place up ahead where we can stop, make camp, and make food.
And have our food that we already have. The thing is when he says make food, he might go out foraging immediately. We don't know. Here, you can have... On the other hand, when he says, like, the rest of the bread, it was... Did we eat any of it? I thought it was just wrapped. for us.
I thought it was too.
I thought it was just given to us
We
and
didn't-
wrapped.
That was the thing we complained about. Was going
We didn't
like,
even get to try it.
we
It
didn't
was
even
going to get
eat it.
soggy.
Yeah.
Because it was in wax paper. So we're about to eat good soggy pumpkin bread.
That makes me
cold
feel,
soggy
that
pumpkin
makes me
bread.
feel bad for the pumpkin seller. This beautiful fresh bread. What have you done to it? I've turned it into Play-Doh.
Into mush.
Into mush.
And then you let it cool, so now it's like sort of sticky mush.
I'm like rude.
I dropped to a crouch by his side to accept the end of the loaf while Asra arranges a circle of stones. If I am wrong and somebody remembers that we did actually eat any, but all I remember was wrapping 2 little loaves in wax paper as soon as they were ready, and we just hung out there and maybe drank a little tea.
Yeah, that's
so
all I remember.
there's no finishing the bread because we haven't started it as far as I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, arranges a circle of stones. When he holds his hands over the circle, the fire that bursts under his palms is a blazing blue roar.
Oh, that's really hot. Ah! Oh, ah! Ah, ha, ha.
The flames recede in an instant. Too much fire, too much, too much.
Too much!
I left the burner turned up too high.
I was intense feelings fuel me.
Growing calm and steady, we stare at the hearth in wonder. Why do both of us stare in wonder?
Asra, I made that?
I am stunned. It's wondrous that I've made this thing.
I mean, honestly, though, it could be just a kind of wonder of going fire is just fun to look at.
It's really beautiful. I don't know if wonder is the right thing so much as like admiring it, appreciating it, think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm like, why would you say wonder? Wonder really does, at least to me, imply some level of like innocence or basically lack of familiarity with the object.
There's a lack of familiarity. You stare in wonder. Sort of like, okay, one of the most familiar things I'm familiar with, like I know of for wonder in romance tropes, is when your either partner or partner intended does something above and beyond or more sensitive and more aware than you knew they could do. And you stare at them in wonder because it's more than you thought they had, because it's different than what you thought they had, and it amazed you. Mm-hmm. That fire sounds, maybe it was in wonder because he didn't expect it to be blue, but also like if it was big and he tones it down, why would he be staring in wonder?
I would like
to
actually
Or why
know.
would Kohai think he's staring in wonder? Because again, we don't know that he actually is these things, even though it seems like the game is writing absolutes. Yeah. It's what Kohai interprets.
Which is so frustrating. Again, I'm just like, you could build so much character. And the thing is technically speaking, that it's a first-person story in a lot of ways. Even though you can do, like, first-person with some casual narrative running around, though that gets really fucking confusing, which is, I think, why you and I are really confused.
Could be.
It's just, like, you can have, here's first-person, and then here's I don't know.
I also think it's interesting to call a circle of stones a hearth.
I know!
I don't know that it's wrong, but I've never heard it used that way.
I'm like, I thought a hearth was a specific thing. Hang on, I'm actually going to look it up.
We're going to learn a word together today.
Hang on, we're
So
going to
remember how we looked at a couple of other words? We're going to look at hearth today and find out
what
the definition
today
actually is. Because if you can use it for like a small campfire or a little circle of stones, that's kind of charming. And I sort of like it. And it'd be really cute if like you're playing, some little adorable game like, what was the Link game that we recently got that was smaller?
What?
We got a Legend of Zelda game that had small.
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening.
It's so cute.
And so you have like tiny little stone circles in there, or I think you could do it in like Animal Crossing and things like that. And you certainly can do it in like Don't Starve. And I think it'd be cute if instead of calling it fire, or fire pit or whatever, you just called it a hearth.
Okay, so definition of hearth from Merriam-Webster online is a brick, stone, or concrete area in front of a fireplace.
In front, okay.
B, the floor of a fireplace, also called a fireplace.
Okay.
C, the lowest section of a furnace, especially the section on of a furnace on which the ore or metal is exposed to the flame or heat.
So if we're staring at the hearth, it would be he also put stones more particularly out from the fire on one side?
It just said he did a ring of stones. That doesn't sound like I did a...
Yeah,
that doesn't work for me.
I don't think that's quite right, actually.
I appreciate where you're trying to have this level, like, using hearth, to me, sounds strongly if we were looking for a word that would sort of mean, like, closeness or intimacy, or basically, like, comfort of home.
Home and comfort,
Home and comfort.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine, but I was like, I think hearth is really inappropriate here.
Honestly, I find fires themselves, like a cook fire, campfire, to be comforting on their own.
I know!
There's so much, like, aesthetic blogging about living in the wild and about being camping and whatever with just the fire fire.
I did find that to be really funny, though, even when Astra mentioned that, of going, like, you know things are bad when you run away to the woods from the city, and I'm just staring going...
They don't have to be bad. That can just be, like,
that could
fun
be great.
times, amazing times.
Honestly, actually, there's a lot of people who have lived well and good and fine lives living in the woods and not in the city.
Maybe he loves the city.
Oh, maybe
And
he
so
does.
it's like when you run away from the thing you love.
Oh.
I don't know that he loves the city, but that could be a thing.
You know, I've never thought about, like, what if Astra's more of a city person? A suburbs person, basically, or like a town person.
Like, the fact that he leaves all the time might not have to do anything with, you know, I just travel and I'm a mysterious magician. It could really be, I'm trying to get some space from you because it's overwhelming raising an entire person.
Right.
From nothing, from even pre-lingual and pre-skills, like an adult-sized baby.
My question, though, is, again, we actually asked this question before. Why the fuck did they do this?
Do what?
Why did they bring someone back, quote, to make a whole new person?
Yeah, that's... I don't know. I want to find out, because we haven't found out in the other routes. Maybe Asra's route will tell us. That's what I'm hoping.
I would like to know as well, because I also have to admit there's a level of, like, weird entitlement that sort of confuses me. Of going, like, what if the
Asra,
person...
why did you bring this person back?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
We stare at the hearth and wonder. My magic is a little more potent than usual. Ah!
He's staring at it in wonder because it blazed up and he went, woo!
Excuse me, I got a blaze in my heart to make me sparkle and shout.
He's still excited.
He is still really excited.
Right, the cave experience was so invigorating.
That's right. Was this too?
We were both in the cave together.
I want to try it out.
My magic or the fire?
You get your answer.
He blows out the fire, letting it steam. Steam? It was wet?
What?
Letting it smoke, maybe? Before he moves aside. We haven't practiced fire magic much, meaning he hasn't taught it much and I haven't practiced it much. But the fire being wet is very strange for me.
I'm like,
maybe it's blue because it's a water fire? He steams. Maybe he puts it out with water.
Oh.
Maybe he blows. He spits it out.
It becomes that...
I think we used the little kids spit on the candles. And you're just like, and everyone stares at the cake like,
no, do you remember that cartoon where the person tries to hot a loogie and they just go...
Oh, God, no.
Asra?
No, I did not. It's just the thing if he just opens his mouth, just drools on it and goes, it steams out.
This is called blowing, Kohai. Kohai. Oh, yes, would you like it?
You know what? Okay, hang on. But if we go back to the headcanon I had about him teaching Kohai excessive amounts of magic for all things, this is called blowing. He blows on it. He uses a spell to blow on the fire. Because if there's a spell to hold your breath, you're going to have a spell to blow out. Like, Kohai knows a spell to blow out candles. Can you picture that? Kohai has a little candle by their bed, the little reading light kind of thing, and then when they're ready to put it out, they use the spell to blow it out, but it actually blows it out just like you could do if you went... It's magic instead. Yes.
It's just so extra.
We haven't practiced fire magic much. But when I hold my hand over the circle of stones, flame jets from the center of my palm with a sharp crack. I wasn't even thinking about fire or trying to make magic. It just happened involuntarily.
I'm also like, sometimes it feels like we use words and other times we really don't use words. Is this like a indeterminate wild magic that uses no words? Or
sometimes also... we describe feeling the magic and trying to do something. This is just, hand goes over, this thing happens to me.
It explodes.
But this is not, I feel this, I do this, I want
it
this.
It just happened.
It just happened to us. With a sharp crack.
I would love to have more specific magic words and terminology, honestly.
And or going, I intend to do this, not, I just stick my hand out there and holy shit! It's like a static shock. Like when you touch a doorknob.
Mm-hmm.
I just put my hand over there and pow! Reviving the fire in a single flash. Asra laughs as I stare down my arm in disbelief.
Did I do that? I don't even feel like I did.
I don't even look at the fire. I stare the length of my arm. Whoa. Also, what is that? Fire super high, licking at the base of your hand. Oh shit. I put it back. Sorry.
Fire. No, I love you.
I cast the blowing spell to blow on my hot palm.
I cast a cooling spell.
It blows a gentle wind over my palm.
so
Okay,
sick.
but I would love it sometime if someone's like, I've really had like 500 mundane spells that are basically things you do yourself, but you don't tell the reader that. So it's literally just a gentle wind blows over my palm kind of thing, but it is literally just a puff of air like,
Stellan.
Asra laughs as I stare down my arm in disbelief.
Don't use it too much, okay? Your is starving.
But I didn't even use it just happened.
Anyway, about the thing at the palace. You should probably stay away from Lucio's old wing.
I thought you meant about the name carved in the tree or any of the questions I was asking, or maybe about the book or the memory or... Right, the thing you were talking about at the palace, not the thing I was talking about. I was there... Where is his old wing? Okay.
Old wing. Also, I find that to be very funny because I believe in the original one, we went into the old wing.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm almost positive because that
Which
was
is
the
fine.
because we did go in there.
Oh, we did.
And I'm like,
is that going to be an option in this one?
Can you imagine him, like, you've done that, and that's supposed to be your character, where you choose your path. He's like, you need to stay away from this thing, character, awkwardly. Yes!
Sure
His
thing.
wing!
His wing.
Where I cropped his portrait!
And maybe his portrait, too. He pauses. I watched the firelight dance in his haunted eyes.
Is he sad now?
He went from amazed to delighted to haunted so fast.
Whoa. Also, like, is it because we're talking about ghosts?
See, he must also be very hungry if his emotions are changing so strongly so quickly.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right. Azra, eat something. Point, point.
I don't think I actually ate the bread at all. I just held it and watched him. So I gently split the bread and handed half of it to him.
You put it over the fire so it would dry out while you were... So it's no longer mush, but it's like scorched. You're like,
I pick up the bread and I gently put a stick through it, and then I roast it just a little bit to get it crunchy on the outside instead of mushy. And then I pull it off the stick, and while he is looking very haunted, I break it in half with a nice crunch. Even if it's a little odd texture, it still works. And I just put half of the warm bread into his hands.
That sounds so gross! I mean, I guess that would be like soup
wouldn't be too
bread.
bad.
It wouldn't be that bad.
No, it wouldn't be. So
but I guess, like, when you
crust...
have a bread, and then you're like, the inside is goopy. I'm like, why the fuck would you...
So when you steam the bread, it's mostly the outside, but the inside can get sort of rubbery. Like, that's what happens, like, from the bakery that I've worked at before. If you immediately seal it in a bag while it's too hot, the crust gets soft and sort of squishy.
Yeah.
And then when it dries, it all gets sort of rubbery. And, like, the inside can
but
be
that's also
very
like
sort of rubbery.
bread that doesn't have gluten in it, so that acts a little differently based on what I understand.
I've also done it with regular.
Oh, you've also done it with
bread,
regular?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Haunted eyes.
Yes, haunted eyes.
Haunted eyes!
I gently put the bread in his hands.
Unfortunately, I can't promise that he won't come to you.
I mean, you did say that he would try to talk to me. That's probably easiest if he's where I am. Yes? Very innocent.
We're going to have to be more innocent. Come to you in the next one. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Even, like, just basically, really honestly, liking the video does a lot for us in regards to the YouTube algorithm. So it would be much appreciated if you
And if
did
you
so.
do comment, even something teeny tiny like, woo, it really does make our video more visible to people.
Yes, if you enjoyed it. Like, no pressure, though.
No,
we do love having you here. Also, if you'd like to go check out our Ko-Fi, Patreon, and our Twitch.
Or our Twitch.
Oh, or our Twitch. We would love to see you there.
Yes.
At one of those locations.
You
Yeah.
betcha.
Here we go. So, yeah, I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lice.
And it was...
Hi.
And it was great playing with you. Bye! La la la, Christopher Walken.